times, good vibes, good nights, good times, good vibes, alright, good times, good vibes.
This is how we do it in Austin, Texas. We be flipping.
Hey.
We flipping on Juneteenth, on 4th of July, and this no lie, we on.
Project, key to life is keep the paper coming. Thumbing through hundreds, playing the dozens, me and my cousins go. But my nights take me to heights only seen on your television, and I'll be counting my blessings. Sunday school cool, but I'll be flyer than Reverend. I'll be flyer than Jetson.
Hi, and welcome back to another Randall Son YouTube. It's been over a week. It's been kind of crazy last week. I had relatives and stuff coming in, so many different ideas, and so much stuff I want to do with this YouTube. Either I want to cook, do a vlog, or talk about so much news that's been coming out of the left field this past, I don't know, this few weeks, couple months. It's been a lot. So I get one idea and be like, oh, I'm gonna record this, oh, I'm gonna do this, oh, I'm gonna do that. People, I'm still trying to figure it out. So please be patient with my uploads, but I have not given up on this channel, and I'm always brainstorming and always thinking of ideas of what to do for the YouTube channel, how I'm gonna do it, and make sure I'm giving you guys the full quality and attention that I feel like the information I want to put out needs. So with that being said, subscribe and like if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, thank you. With everything going on right now as far as police brutality and the Black Lives Matter movement, protesters including myself, black culture, white culture, people period of different backgrounds in America having talks, uncomfortable talks about race and racism and where they stand and as far as what they see as far as the future going. Myself, I don't have too many people that I actually talk about this to from the other when I say on another ethnicity, I don't really talk too many people about it unless I feel like they're at a level of understanding. There's no reason for us to even have a conversation about race if we don't have an understanding about white supremacy and if it exists, and how do you feel about that as a foundational thing. Because if I feel like we have a meat ground there, every discussion after that is going to be a bump heads instead of maybe a building on the topic separately, right? We will never see eye to eye on anything after that if we don't agree that the white supremacy even exists as a whole, and that everything underneath that falls true to that. So if you don't agree, if me and you don't even agree on white supremacy anymore, I see it as a pointless conversation for us to even converse, because it'll just be two opinions going at each other to bring nothing, maybe to upset each other or just to hear what the other side wants to say. And that's what people do for professional debate. And 9 times out of 10, I'm not even going to debate you. Moving on, with that being said, a lot of things I've been seeing on media, and I had came across and heard things where you're talking about police brutality, and a deflection question will pop up with, what about black on black crime? Black people kill more black people than anything, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, which is true. It's true. What are you saying is true. Black people do kill black people more than any other race, right? But guess what? Every race kills themselves more than any other race kills them. And that's not, and we're not, and for me personally, when I'm out there protesting about police brutality, I'm doing that as one thing at a time. I can only tackle, we can only focus on one thing at a time, especially as a whole of the people. We got so much of a movement and momentum going towards one thing. And then when people feel a certain way, when they run out of excuses or things to say about that particular subject matter, you want to deflect to, well, what about black on black crime? Well, which is true. Like I said, it is a thing. But I think it's funny also the people, the All Lives Matter movement, people who don't want to say it's not Black Lives Matter, it's All Lives Matter, are the first ones to bring up black on black crime. But since you want to go there, we can go there because today I actually had time. Yeah, I'm going through statistics of every race. Every race does the killing of their own the most. That's not surprising. White on white crime, I had to look into as I was looking at black on black crime, just because you have to compare and contrast about the numbers in different races. Like, well, dang, are we killing? Yeah, we are killing each other. 13% of the population, just to say as a number, that number may not be accurate. We're gonna say 13% of the population. We kill black on black crime comes about 90% of crimes committed against black people are black people when it comes to murder, right? Or that number compared to white people is also outstanding too. Like I said, but everybody kills each other. Like, it doesn't even matter what color you are. But when you look at people, 13% of the population compared to 60% of the population and their percentage, their number looks more alarming more than compared to the 13% of the population. Now we're looking at the numbers, we're looking at rate. So you can't look at everything, can't be side by side because there's not many white people, there is black people. So with that being said, when somebody says black on black crime, actually it's like, well, you should be more concerned about white on white crime, but we're not talking about that, right? Just like if we just bring up one police officer who's being shot and killed in a line of duty and he gets media, you know, about, you know, the things that happened, tragedy that, you know, whatever got the officer killed or whatnot, but there's another officer in another state, you know what I'm saying, that might not have, it's like you can't compare it, and that's what happens, you know? Or we talk about this and then we can only focus on one thing at one time. So people who are in discussions with other people, other cultures, or it could be the same culture. I know some black people, they feel some type of way too about the black on black crime. And I kind of feel like they drink the Kool-Aid because they fell into the trap of the person who's trying to deflect from the real conversation. You got to be careful of what you're talking about and why and why they, like I say, why they bring that up. And are people bringing that up, black on black crime, as far as, did they look into it too as well? Well, you tell me about it. When people say, well, black on black crime, then they may bring up the statistics, but do you also look into the statistics of why is that happening? How crimes and stuff happen more when you were living in a poverty neighborhood, or if you're the average house home doesn't make so much money, are you above or below that average of income of, you know, because all those things and numbers and statistics, they actually matter. And when you all boils down, it all comes up under the umbrella of the white supremacy, as far as the racist systematic stuff that happened too, as far as being redline jobs and a lot of stuff that goes with it. So for people to say, what about on black crime? It's always going to be there, and it always will. Just like there always be white on white crime, Mexican crime, Mexican on Mexican crime, Asian on Asian crime, and so on. So don't get too pulled up into politics and even get mad about when people say stuff like that. That's just a way to deflect from the real actual topic, which is still going to be police brutality. We still got to focus on that, because too, people in the Black Lives Matter movement or these protesters are not saying they are the cops. They want to do police work themselves. But how are we going to call? Who are we going to call if we want to fix it? What's going on in our own backyards? If we can't be trusted law enforcement, if we feel like we're a threat to them too. So it's like we got to handle the one before we go to the next one, right? So until we're able to fix this, we can go on to that, but it takes time. And they know that. And so don't get distracted and get frustrated too much, because it brings your energy away from what is really actually important. So don't fall for the trick bag. You telling people, what about black on black crime? Yeah, it's there, and we're gonna try to help them numbers go down. But to be honest, people are gonna kill each other every day, no matter what, right? And you gotta be careful too, because you telling people, what about black people? You guys kill each other. Okay, all right. So we get black people. We tell all the people in our back, in my culture, I tell all the killers, the gangsters, the ones that's really about that, like, hey, stop killing each other. We need to stop being at war with each other for this and that. But even though there's other systematic reasons and other stuff that it can be talking about for hours, stop killing each other. Especially if we ain't, you know, that's not what you need to be focused on. if you tell a whole bunch of black people to stop killing each other and a whole bunch of killers, they can stop killing each other, but then they may look at the people who are killing us and then they become the target. So I would start looking at who's the next ethnic group who are killing black people. And if it is whether a culture group, I will watch out and I'll be careful, because you're telling killers to stop killing, which they're not going to stop killing. A killer will always be an instinct, always be a killer. They will always be ready, and they will always, that's just by nature. So you tell them to stop killing, okay, we'll stop killing black people, but I think they will always be on set and they'll be ready to kill. So other things gotta be set up before we stop telling people to, or stop telling black people to stop killing black people. But all lives should matter to themselves as far as to stop killing each other, period. But we know we're not at a time society where that's gonna happen. When we come to that day and age where everybody stops killing everybody, and we actually moving forward to people, that'll be great. Do I think that'll happen in my lifetime? I don't think so. And that's just me being logically, not trying to be politically correct or anything. I just think logically that's not gonna happen in my lifetime. That would be great if people would stop doing violence and everybody was, you know, good morally but we live on earth when there's a balances of good and bad, yin and yang, negative and positive, north and south. So that being said, I just don't see that being too realistic. But again, we gotta handle problems one thing at a time. And right now, we gotta still handle about police brutality, which police reform has still not been set into law yet, because the Senate is still battling of how are we gonna set a law or a reform to get it passed so we can have no chokeholds, no knock warrants, and to get rid of this immunity that protects the police officers for being charged, just for them to be held responsibility. And if we're having too many people on force, we need to start defunding the police, which means not take away all the money that they have, not fire all the police. I personally don't want to abolish all the police, but I do think we should start taking some of the funds that if you're going up there, we're buying tanks and this and that. That's what we have an army for. We don't need that for the police. You know, a lot of this money, and millions and billions of dollars that are going into effect and really to hurt the community instead of protecting it, it's just nonsense. And so I don't have anything set up myself, but I'm all for that idea of defunding, start taking some of this money away and start putting it back to the community where it will helping communities like Chicago, like putting jobs and stuff like that in place and programs so the crime will go down. They people know how to actually fixate the actual crime, the crime rate, especially in impoverished neighborhoods, urban neighborhoods that don't have the resources or jobs as close as other communities do. So that being said, I'm gonna leave that at that. It was the 4th of July this past weekend. I did not celebrate, and because I celebrated my people's independence on Juneteenth. It is a national holiday for a lot of Americans here, especially the white American society and others too who fail to celebrate that day. I stopped celebrating the 4th of July a few years back when I was shockingly taught about Juneteenth and Independence Day for the black people, and understanding the dates and history and time, and understanding that in 1776, July 4th, that Declaration of Independence was signed, but that wasn't a celebration of independence for black people, but just for the independence for America away from Britain on a piece of paper, even though we were still at war with them. And it took an additional 100 years from that actual being signed, from the actual slaves to be free. So as a day that you celebrate, not the actual day every year, we actually celebrate that actual date in history. It's not a day in celebration, I feel, for me and my people. Now for the black people that do want to celebrate it, that is on them. That is on them, even if they ignorantly don't know about Juneteenth or or they just feel, that's on them. That's the beauty of you wanting to, you have that right as you have the American right and you have that human right. So no matter what my opinion of black people that celebrate 4th of July, which I disagree with, but if that's what you feel like you want to do, then you have the right to do that. And I just like I have the right to not celebrate the 4th of July and just celebrate Juneteenth. If that's what I feel like I want to do, that's the beauty of it. And I don't hate you. and you shouldn't hate me. It's okay, we disagree, and that's fine. That should be the beauty thing about America, and not be so mad or feel like we want to shoot each other or anything like that. It's okay. It's okay. With that being said, there's been a lot of things that's been going on politically and stuff in the news. It's just hard for me to want to just get on everything and do. I don't know if I want to. If I really want to talk about I would actually be doing a podcast talk every other day. Okay, there's so much stuff in news that hit the headline. It's like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. And then, not to get confused, I still love the food stuff too. So I see stuff on my Instagram, which, mind you, right now, follow my Instagram page too, Randall_Sun44. That's on IG. Excuse me. Shout out to my Instagram following. That's my largest following right now on the social platforms, which I'm on there. I used to post daily. I'm getting to the point where I'm posting every other day. But follow the IG page. Shout out to my Twitter page too, Randall_Sun @Randall_Sun44 on Twitter, which I'm retweeting and sharing a lot of news and information and stuff from too. But I'm heavily, of course, on YouTube, IG, and Twitter now exclusively. Had to get rid of the fat. Had to cut off Facebook, Snapchat. This for personal and this business-wise, this growth reasons. So people, I'm still want to do so many videos. I get tied up sometimes. Sometimes I feel like just a clock. Sometimes I feel like the story I want to do comes later in the day. And by the time period I want to do it, something else comes out. And I'm like, ooh, it's a lot of just... Even this video, it's not one of my best proclaimed videos, but I made this video just to put a video out there. Just to say, I know I said I was going to do one every week, but I tried to double up. I'm going to try to do another one this week. I know I'm saying this and it may or it may not come, but just stay tuned, stay subscribed, and everything is going to get better. For sure, for sure. But thank you for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up, like button, subscribe, and the notification bell if you haven't already. Follow me on those other platforms, like I said, Twitter and Instagram. And I think that's it, people. Make sure you mask up and wash your hands. Stay safe out there. Peace!